Welcome to Influential Entrepreneurs, bringing you interviews with elite business leaders and experts, sharing tips and strategies for elevating your business to the next level. Here's your host, Mike Saunders.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Influential Entrepreneurs. This is Mike Saunders, the Authority Positioning Coach. Today we have with us Andrew Saksa, who's the Senior Vice President of the Financial Services Division at ReminderMedia.com. Andrew, welcome to the program.
Hey, Mike. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the invite.
Hey, you're welcome. I'm looking forward to talking with you because it's always neat talking with entrepreneurs, business owners, marketing strategists, and if there is something that an entrepreneur or a financial services professional can do to help stay top of mind, that is what it's all about. And you know, you hear about, SIT marketing, stay in touch, and I know that's what you guys focus on. So give us a little bit of your background, and then what is it that you do at Reminder Media?
Fantastic, Mike. So I've been with Reminder Media. I run the financial services division here for us, and I've been here for about 7 years at this point in time, and we've just had incredible explosive growth. We've gone from over 200 employees to now over 300 employees through COVID.
Wow.
With growth of over 86%, so now we're a $60 million company. And the reason why we've had so much success, and specifically working with financial advisors, just comes down to the fact that, we really are one of the very few tools that will literally bring that advisor from a mailbox past the trash can onto a coffee table of one of their top clients to keep them top of mind and present for that next referral. So,
yeah, that's And here's one, we can just go so far and wide on that statement right there, but I think my thought would be something I've experienced over the years, and I like to call it the law of left field, meaning you just do all the right things and you stay in touch and you get this piece of business and that piece of business with what seems like what is out of left field, but in reality, it's because you are just staying visible and keeping in touch. So it's that consistency. And I spoke to actually an advisor here in Colorado where I'm from last week, and he made a comment about a new service that he had signed up for getting some leads. And I said, "Oh, how's it working out for you?" And he goes, "Well, I don't know. It's only been 6 months. And I always know when you start using a new technique or tool or service, you got to give it a year." And I think that is such a perfect mindset because you can't just try something for 10 seconds and go, "Oh, that didn't transform my business." Well, you guys didn't grow 86%, overnight. It's that consistency. So talk a little bit about that when you are advising your clients on how to stay in touch with their network.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I appreciate that. It's funny. Like I said, our company's been around for 20 years, so it's almost like that band that just becomes extremely successful and everybody considers them an overnight success,
Yep.
But yet they've been at it for 20 years. So the funny thing is with us, we've been very successful growing, with over 40,000 real estate agents that we work with, but the real home run now for us is in the financial services industry, and that's exactly what you said. You have to do something that separates you from everybody else. You have to do it in a way that's unique, that's customized right down to the individual client level, but once again, isn't just always focused on talking about financial stuff. Because again, advisors put so much attention on, staying top of mind with all the latest things that are going on with interest rates, the market movements, this, that, and the other thing. But where they miss a lot of the time is the relationship side.
Yeah.
And that's really where we focus in. Most of our content is really just about building and strengthening those relationships so that once again, they are always thought of for that next referral. And then when it comes to that overnight success and using a marketing tool over the course of a year, the funny thing is with us, we usually do see success pretty quickly. We have an 87% retention rate working with financial advisors and insurance professionals on a very first trial print with us.
Wow.
Again, we'll print our magazine over the course of the year, but the reason why the advisor has so much success isn't some panacea. It's not that referrals come raining down from the sky, like in the case of the advisor that's willing to give it a little bit more time. It's a combination. You can't just send something out to a client and sit back and wait for your phone to ring.
Yep.
We'll actually coach our advisors and say, hey, listen, when you get this magazine out, what you really want to do is you want to make a follow-up telephone call just to your top 10 clients, the top 10 of the 50 people that you're probably going to start with. Because, again, we're going to focus on that top tip of the spear A-book client, because that's, again, where the relationships really can bear the most fruit. And then just going back really quick to what you were talking about, we're going to say, hey, listen, make a telephone call and just ask them 3 questions. Did you get my magazine? Do you like my magazine? In other words, would you like us to continue to send it to you? Mm-hmm. But who are the 2 people right now that you would like us to send the magazine to? And again, I take everything back to Zig Ziglar, because I think Zig Ziglar was so bright. And what Zig Ziglar always said is you had to do 3 things to make somebody your client. You had to be known, you had to be liked, and you had to be trusted. And that's really where we'll come in, because, again, if the advisor just follows that simple instruction of calling those top 10 clients, getting this out to their friend, family member, colleague, and then just following it up, they're known because they're seen right there to have their own magazine, so they're on the cover of their own magazine. They're liked because they just gave them a gift, and they're trusted because they're being referred by their friend. So,
well, that is a
long answer to a short question.
Yep, that's a lot to unpack, and I'm gonna mentally try to remember a couple of points I wanted to go deeper on, because I want to talk specific about the program in just a second. But kind of backing up to the mentality of why something that is not, this magazine that you're talking about is not stocks and bonds and charts and all these things. It is, lifestyle focus. And it reminds me of an interview that I did a couple years ago with the author of the book called Giftology. Have you ever read that by John Ruhlin?
No, I haven't.
Spectacular book. And the mindset is gifting, right? And strategically gifting. And it's not just, the thing that you do. And so he picked, Cutco knives, and he would say, if you can give this Cutco knife to one of your best clients, now when they're in the kitchen using it, whatever it is that you do, legal services, financial, it doesn't matter. They're thinking of you, but they're thinking of you in that warm way, not like, they just sent me some more stuff with charts and graphs I don't even understand. So I like that approach that you're taking, which is this magazine that, and by the way, you sent me one. I've got it here right next to me. It is just spectacular, glossy, and you flip through that and you just feel elegant. And so being able to have that approach, your clients don't have the pit in their stomach going, oh, what do they want? And then the other thing that I'll just comment on too, and maybe you can go deeper on, you mentioned the top 10 or so out of 50, that's 20%. Well, that's Pareto's principle. That's 80-20 rule. Well, if you can clone the top 20% of your clients, nothing wrong with the other 80%, but if you can focus and clone those top 20%, now you've in essence almost doubled your business, because that top 20% gives you 80% of your, revenue, business, whatever. So if you can get that introduction to give that gift, because you're giving something, well, now birds of a feather flock together. They typically are not going to be introducing you to someone that is, first time on the job and they're 20 years old. They're probably going to introduce you to someone similar to them. Is that what you're finding when your advisors are following that?
That's exactly it. Boy, you hit the nail right on the head. Pareto's Law is what we focus in on. We talk about it all the time. Financial advisors are usually pretty good about client segmentation. So they'll have that A book, they'll have that B book, they'll have that C and D book that they're trying to graduate up. And what we really do is like I said, we'll focus on that top A book client. But let's go a step deeper. So you're looking at that magazine, right? And it's beautiful. Like you said, it's glossy, hard stock, double coated, customized right down to the individual client level on the front cover with a personalized message, a couple of recipe tarot cards, and then you've got a back cover as well. And there's all kinds of different subject matter, right? It could be Start Healthy, which is diet, fitness, exercise. It could be lifestyle, which is, again, all the things just celebrating life in America that make it so great, right? DIY, travel, fun things like that. So the content we're going to take care of. But when you go to that back cover, and my top advisors just go that little extra step, they'll look at that top A book client And like you said, birds of a feather flock together. So whether they're part of a church, so congregation in a church, maybe they support a charity right there in the local community, something along those lines. If you take that initiative to add their thing that they're so passionate about, that church, that charity, that foundation, whatever it happens to be of one of their top clients, and you feature it on the back cover of that magazine and send it to that top client, holy smokes, you talk about turning a client, one of your top clients, into a raving fan for your business. They see that you're supporting their initiative, and of course they're going to share that with everybody that they know. And like you said, birds of a feather do flock together. So all those folks typically, appreciate and value your client's opinion, but more importantly, they probably have the same amount of assets. And that's really what it's all about for that.
And it's not just the customization on the front, but I love the option that you have for maybe doing that cause or nonprofit, because I literally an hour ago was speaking to another financial professional, and at the end of the podcast interview we were just talking about or inside of it, but he was talking about this veteran focused cause and nonprofit that he's so passionate about, and you could just hear him light up. And so what you just mentioned there with your top clients, if you know, and guess what, let's put a pin in this for a second, you should know. Not if you know, but you should know. Kind of like, have you ever heard of Harvey McKay 66? He taught people you need to know those things. And it's not just, let me print off this 66 different questions and blitz my, best clients and go, what do you think and how do you? You just learn that over time. But because you have taken the time to develop the relationship and know what cause and charities and nonprofits and local organizations they care about, and now that comes front and center in this nice piece, it just really shows that you care, and it makes you stand out. And now all of a sudden, they notice, because we all are bombarded with text and instant this, that, and the other, that if something like that comes, it's got shelf life and table space. They're not going to just, flip it in the trash can. They're going to go, oh, no, that's interesting.
That's it. Boy, you nailed it. Anytime you want to come work with us, Mike, we'd love to have you come aboard.
I have a knack for seeing how things work and fit together. So yes, thank you. So let's think about this. Just like I mentioned about the Cutco knives, and your client may be male, but you send the knives, and maybe the male and the female in the house, or maybe all the members of the family are using those knives. Well, that's not your client. That's all kinds of people in the household. Why is it important to connect with many people in the household, in your opinion of, staying top of mind?
Sure, that's fantastic. So, again, when you look at a financial advisor's book of business, and we'll just focus on the advisor, but it's applicable as well to the insurance agent there as well. For a financial advisor, there's really three things that really matter to them. Number one, they don't want to walk into their office on a Monday morning and see an ACAT show up from one of their top clients just because something happened that was out of their control. And my best example to this is, a lot of the time, financial advisors tend to be male. It's 80% dominated by males. And that male financial advisor tends to put all of his attention on the male head of the household. Well, then when something happens to him, if they don't have that strong connection to both halves of that household, 70% of the time that client is going to move their assets to somebody that they have a connection with.
Yeah.
So it's critical to have that connection to both halves of the household. It's also incredibly valuable to know that that spouse is 4 times more likely to give a referral than the male head of the household was in the first place. So she's 4 times more likely to give a referral. She's quick to move assets if she doesn't feel the connection. And she doesn't always want to hear about what's going on with the market. She wants to have some content and some relationship with the advisor on something that's going to be near and dear to her. So the nice thing about this is you're going to see the content, and everything we do is going to help connect to both halves of that household. It's going to be a great connection to the next generation. You and I both know this is the largest wealth transfer that we've ever seen in the history of mankind. What is it, $70 trillion going from that baby boomer to the X generation? So like you said, you got to connect to everybody in that household This is an easy way to connect to that next generation.
Yeah.
And then just to touch on that third topic, that third most important thing that almost every financial advisor wakes up to in the morning is, look, how can I leverage my existing relationships with those top tier clients to generate at least more people that are just like them? Yeah. Easy to work with, have the same amount of assets. And as I mentioned, this is a great tool for that as well. So it's a great way to connect to both halves of that household. It's an incredible way to connect to the next generation. And it's a great way to leverage those relationships to generate more referrals.
I think that's just the spectacular way to end the concept and the mindset and the strategy. So let's do this, Andrew. If someone is interested in seeing this in action or getting an example, what's the best way they can reach out, learn more, connect with you, and see how this can benefit their practice?
Terrific. So first and foremost, I want to make sure we get you a promo code here as well, because anybody that comes through this podcast, I want to make sure they get a special promotion just as a thank you to you, Mike. So we'll create a promo code and we'll get that over to you as well that you can share with your audience. But my direct line is 484-804-2963. You can also visit us right there on our website, which is www.ReminderMedia.com. And other than that, Mike, thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate the opportunity to help you and some of your audience here.
You are so welcome, Andrew. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Mike.
You've been listening to Influential Entrepreneurs with Mike Saunders. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.influentialentrepreneurssradio.com.